Hello everyone, it's me, Clayton. I just got back from watching Rambo Last Blood, starring Sylvester Stallone in what should be the final Rambo film. I must say, the Rambo films certainly have had their ups and downs over the years, with the first one being pretty much universally recognized as an action classic, whereas the sequels can either dip or rise in quality, depending on which one you pick. Rambo Last Blood, in this case, definitely is a departure from the series, for better or for worse. But while some critics have eviscerated it with their reviews, I think there are some good things in it, but it's clearly one of the weaker entries of the series. But let's get to the story, shall we? The story is that Rambo, now at the age of 73, has to rescue a girl named Gabriella when she goes to Mexico to meet her neglectful father, and ultimately ends up being kidnapped by several Mexican gang members. Yeah, they don't hold back with this one. So Rambo has to go to Mexico, save her, and also deal with a very dangerous Mexican cartel run by two insane brothers in order to rescue her and in order to ultimately, and in order to rescue one of the only people he cares about that's left in the world. So, this film definitely is a departure from Rambo, as there aren't any big action scenes in Vietnam. There's no battles against police officers. There's none of that. The story feels a lot more like one of the Taken movies from Liam Neeson, especially when it comes to the main female character going to another country, being kidnapped in that country, and the old action star having to save her. Plot device. That kind of makes the story extremely predictable and honestly not very compelling. Especially since you know from the start how everything's going to go. Not saying the Rambo films are masterpieces of storytelling, but you at least got a few twists and turns here and there when it came to what was going to happen, especially in the early days. Not so with this film. It also doesn't exactly help that the cartel members are not interesting antagonists. You've seen these guys in practically every single film that has Mexicans as the main antagonists. And I know some critics have really gotten angry at them for the use of stereotyping in this film. I personally wasn't offended, but I can see why some would be. So just a heads up. Anyways, so with a predictable story, a questionable portrayal of certain characters, and with Sylvester Stallone being in his 70s now, is there any reason for you to see this movie at all? Well, yeah, there is one. That is for the 10 to 15 minute long action climax where Rambo booby traps his house and takes out pretty much every single gang member in the film in an R-rated version of essentially Rambo Home Alone. It's about as ridiculous as I'm making it sound, and it's kind of the best sequence of the entire film. Mixing in hard R-rated violence with creative traps and a lot of clever thinking at the hands of Rambo. It definitely doesn't hold back on any. It doesn't hold back on any of the gore. It pulls no punches, and it also is generally, I think, where the majority of the film went to when it came to its effort. It's like the director said, hey, I want to do this specific action scene, but we need to make a movie around it to justify the action scene happening. And unfortunately, the film around said scene just isn't particularly interesting. That's kind of where the film is. Where the majority of the film is really not that great, but the last 10 minutes kind of makes up for most of it. Like Jurassic World without Jurassic World's somewhat likable main characters and without the astonishing production values. It's definitely not a terrible action film, but I don't think it's really worthy of ending the series. Still, that action climax definitely makes up for a lot of it, and Stallone definitely does handle the action scenes way better than any normal person his age should be able to. So if you just want to see it for the climax, I do recommend it. If you don't feel it's worth it, then this is not for you. I give Rambo Last Blood a 6 out of 10. See you next time.